What's up, everybody? Today we are going to do a review of Future Foundation Doom. Not a lot to say about this figure. They didn't upgrade anything on it. He's really the same figure as the regular Doom, as you can see here. So the only difference for these guys is really just their paint scheme. You know, he's got the silver buckle here and the silver buckle on his belt. And he's got a deeper black wash, and this guy's got gold on his cape and gold on his belt, with really not as much of a wash into his paint. If you look up close, you can really notice or tell all the deep wash that's in his cape and that's in his uniform. And then if you look at this guy, you're not going to really notice as much of a wash. I'm not sure if they really... I think it's just really a flat green. I really can't tell if there's a dark wash or not in there. And it might be just because the green is so dark on them. But the articulation on this guy is the same. So he's got rotation at the head. He can turn around when you take the cape off, which it is removable. He's got his shoulders which go up, swivel at the bicep, single jointed elbows. Swivel here on his hand. He's got the ab crunch. He's got the waist articulation there. His legs will go forward. They won't go back, and they'll go out to the side just a little bit. He's got the double jointed knees, and he rotates here at the foot, and then he can point down quite a bit. But he doesn't really show anything, or he doesn't really do anything as far as forward. There's no ankle pivot or anything like that either for this guy. He does come with the pistol here, and the only thing that I don't like is this pouch here that's on the side. You can't open the pouch to put the gun in, so I've tried, and it's definitely glued down, so he has to hold it in his hand. And what I don't like about this figure is that you can see when he's holding the gun, he doesn't really hold it straight. It's kind of at an angle, and you kind of have to balance it, and it just falls out. So it's not, he just didn't hold it the best. But for what it is, I mean, it's just basically going to be a repaint. It's the same as the other mold. It's not, in my book, a must-have. You know, and I give this particular figure, you know, what, I don't know, a 6.5 out of 10, mainly because there's nothing that's changed on him. This figure's not really my favorite figure. The articulation's okay. The look and the detail and the paint that they did on the uniform was great. So that gave him some extra bonus points, but they really haven't done anything different from either one of these Dooms, so which is, I mean, it's perfectly fine by me. So I don't really need 50 billion Dooms, and this one is, like I said, it's just a repaint. So there's nothing, you know, super exciting about this, except he comes in the exclusive 2-pack from Target. So if you're a collector and you just want to have an exclusive, then, you know, go out and get them. But I wouldn't recommend opening them unless you just want the Spider-Man for your collection. So that's it on that. But I did want to say something. I did review the Future Foundation Spider-Man, and here's Scarlet Spider. And what I realized the problem was is that this guy actually has more articulation, because Scarlet Spider doesn't have the ankle rotation, or he doesn't have an ankle pivot. You can't really pose his foot up or down. And he doesn't have the waist articulation to rotate. He's got the upper torso, but his lower torso doesn't rotate like this Spider-Man does. So you could do a lot of different things with him and keeping his paint lined up. But anyways, the problem between these two and why I can't do more poses with him, and especially with his legs, is I wanted to pull out the two different molds to compare them today. And when I looked at him, you can see the difference in the hip. You can see the hip on this guy is a lot wider than the hip on this guy, which hinders this figure. because all the other articulation is great, but it's just really just mainly this hip, and that's why you can't get this posed as well as this Scarlet Spider. So because they beefed the figure up so much, and when they did his legs and the hip, they just didn't allow for room to really do more with this figure on his legs. So when they're trying to pose him, that's the only flaw that I can see with this right here. Other than that, I like the adds that they did. I like the upgrade that they made for this figure. So, and I know Shartimus Prime said that, you know, he thinks this is one of the better molds that they've upgraded or that they have right now in the MU line, which I'm going to say, yeah, you're right, it is a good mold. And I'm glad they added the articulation, and granted there's certain things that I particularly like a little bit better. But just the biggest problem, if you get this figure, if you get the Future Foundation Spider-Man, it's going to be the same mold as this. The only thing is it's going to be painted in reverse. So it's going to be more white with just the black. But you're still going to have the same problems with this hip. And for the people out there that have this, you'll know what I'm talking about when you get it. I mean, you can still pose them decently, but it's just that's just my biggest quirk about, you know, some of these figures is that hip and the articulation and the lack thereof, or how hard it is to really to pose this figure. So, and I think that's what the biggest deal was, is that, like I said, the hip is just too tight, or he's just too beefed up in his leg that it just really hinders the articulation, which I understand you don't want a huge gap or anything in there, but man, it's just difficult, and it's frustrating because I was really looking forward to this mold, this new mold, and granted his hands, I mean, his hands could be a lot better. So, I mean, Spider-Man went 2 fists, it's alright, but I just feel a little cheated. That's all. So, I mean, I know everybody's going to have their own opinion or like something different, and I'm not saying it's a bad figure to have, but if you're a completist or you want a lot of Spider-Man figures or you want to have all the costumes, I think that one's a cool look, and I like the paint scheme on it, but I'm going to have to get the regular version and get them painted in the reverse colors, and you know, hopefully they'll upgrade those hips or do something just a little different so we can pose them a little better. But other than that, today's review was about this guy, Dr. Doom. So all in all, he's an okay figure. I'm just saying that, you know, it's a repaint. So if you feel like you just have to have him, I mean, if you're a customizer or you want to paint just another one, you can just really just paint it yourself and really be the same thing. All you're changing is the buckle color and the color that's on his the buckle that's on his cape, and then just doing a white paint with a black wash. So they didn't really change anything, which is kind of sad, but it's alright. I mean, I'm happy with what we have, and I'm glad that they took the time to give us the molds that they've been giving us, because they're going to do a lot of other things with these new molds, and I'm really kind of excited, especially seeing a lot of these new MU figures that are coming out, and a lot of the molds that they're sporting, and all the changes that's going on. And a lot of people complain about the price, but you got to remember that with everything else, with the gas, the inflation, and the economy, with how everything costs, you know, you're going to pay a little bit more for your figures. And I think for what they put into the 3 3/4 figures when it comes to the detail for the paint, and when it comes to the articulation that they have, it's pretty amazing. So, but that's it for today, you guys. So comment, subscribe, let me know what you want me to review next, and I'll see you. Peace.